Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila, as always, is brought to you by those who drink it. We come to you this evening on the Mike Francesa channel, on the Bet Rivers Network, on YouTube. And just a reminder, we'll be with you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with our baseball preview show. We'll do the over-unders. We'll talk about the Yankees and the Mets. I have problems with both lineups, so I'll get you to get those tomorrow. Listen, they're not lineups are for debate, but I'm not in love with either lineup as far as how they're constructed. But I'll get to that tomorrow. Um, I will also give you my thoughts on the regional games for the Sweet 16, which will begin on Thursday. Uh, and you don't have a double digit line in any of the games. The highest line's 9.5 with Duke. So we'll get to all those. But we're here tonight because the Giants continue to play this strange game. And, I tweeted earlier that, boy, it was nice when the Giants knew what they were doing when it came to building a football team. And clearly those days are gone. I still feel the same way. I don't understand how the Giants have attacked this. I was told by somebody very close to the Giants a couple of weeks ago, Giants are going all in on signing Aaron Rodgers. Okay, from a very good source. So I brought that. I tweeted out. I mentioned it on the podcast. The Giants are going all in on Rodgers. I did not feel that is a perfect spot for Rodgers, nor do I think Pittsburgh's a perfect spot. I thought the perfect spot for Rodgers was the Jets. They thought otherwise. I thought Indianapolis was the other spot for Rodgers. They weren't interested in him, okay, because I was looking for a team that could give him a core that could win. I don't think the Giants have that. So I don't think Rodgers would have magically made the Giants a playoff contender when you couple the fact that they are in a very tough division and face what everyone right at this moment, and that can shift a little bit in season, but clearly they face one of the toughest schedules in the league next year, if not the toughest statistically in the league next year. But I don't understand. All right, Rodgers has played this waiting game. I think originally for Minnesota. I think lately for San Francisco to see if there was any truth that they were going to try and move Purdy. He might wait till the draft to see if that still happens because it could affect him. There's no reason for him to sign fast. No one else is going to Pittsburgh. If he tells Pittsburgh, hey, if you're looking for a veteran quarterback after the draft, I'm your man, he can wait till the draft. I mean, he doesn't have to sign. He can wait till the season starts to sign if he wants to, and then wait for somebody to get hurt. The cards are in his game. I mean, he is holding all the cards because, hey, he's been there, done that. He doesn't have to do something. The Steelers eventually would have to go get themselves a quarterback. Now you figure Steelers and Rodgers are the likely hookup now that Wilson is off the board. Um, but explain to me if you're the Giants. And the first plan that was delivered to me was Giants want to sign Rodgers, but they still want to draft the quarterback on the first round. Have Rodgers be the quarterback for a year or two and have him help develop the new quarterback. Okay. Made some sense. Elevate the team's status, get them back to where people cared about them again, uh, energize the fan base a little bit. They don't keep getting the fifth team on the broadcast schedule, which bothers them. Aaron Rodgers makes them count again. He makes them relevant again. All right. Even though they still have a lot of holes. Now, we hear that Rodgers doesn't really want to go to the Giants, despite the fact the Giants offer him the most money. I heard 90 million for 2 years. I don't know if it's accurate. That's what I heard. All right. Now, the bottom line is they turn around without Rodgers signing anywhere. without Wilson signing anywhere and signed Jameis Winston. Now, I know they brought DeVito back to have a quarterback in the room, but we all know they had no intention of playing DeVito. We know that. Okay, despite the couple of DeVito fans who think he is the next, superstar, which is, in their dreams, um, they bring Jameis Winston in, which frankly, and I've always liked Jameis, but Jameis is not going to make a bad team better. He's going to leave a team about where it is. He'll have some good days. He'll have some bad days. He'll have some days he leads you to 30 points. He'll have some days he throws 4 picks. That's who he is. He is a guy who can throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's also a guy who can throw 5 picks in a game. That's who he is. That's who he's always been. He's a journeyman quarterback. That made no sense to me. Giving him even that much money made no sense to me because I knew the Giants still were going to get a veteran quarterback if they had one available to them. Now I'm figuring they're waiting out Rodgers, and if not, they are going to start the season with Winston, draft the quarterback, and then play him 5 or 6 games in. I'm thinking that's not great, but at least it is a plan. Now that you sign Winston and now you sign Wilson, I don't know where this leaves you. Now, I know Wilson's going to start, and we can get to what's left in Russell Wilson's game in a second. Not as much as is left in Aaron Rodgers' game, in my estimation, by any stretch. Russell Wilson's game has deteriorated dramatically in the last couple of years. And he was dreadful down the stretch for the Steelers, who were 0-5, who finished 6-5 over 11 games, but were 0-5 in their last 5 games with him. Now, the Giants can start Russell Wilson. Is it an elevated? Is it an elevation of the play of their quarterback game? Yes. Anything special? No. Does it make them vastly improved or improved to the point you want to improve them to? No. Does it guarantee these guys get enough wins to keep their job? Absolutely not. Not against a very tough schedule, not in a very tough division. Absolutely not. So now Wilson starts. Winston, why is he there? You paid him for 2 years to do what? Be the backup? Huh? Now, are you going to still draft a quarterback on the first round and slide him into the quarterback room even though there's no chance of him playing next year? Or is the idea now that you're not going to draft a quarterback? You're going to take, hopefully, the quarterbacks go off the board 1, 2. You're picking third, and you get the best non-quarterback in this draft, which will yield you a very good player that even the Giants can't screw up. Because you would think they would take one of 2 players, of which they're both very, very talented players. So I wouldn't think that would be a big issue. I doubt they would take a quarterback. The idea of going up for Ward is over. Would they take Sanders if he's available at 3? I don't know. I mean, I know Dion's pushing it. I don't think so. And now you have Wilson and Winston and DeVito in your quarterback room with a lame duck coach and a lame duck GM who are dying to win. And tonight, all you hear is that, oh, do you know how great this is going to be? Wilson's, great deep ball thrower. He was a really good deep ball thrower a while ago. The problem in Seattle, where he won, where he played a certain way, was he wanted to play a different way. And when they gave him a chance to play a different way, they bombed and they got him out of there. Now he's on 3 teams in 3 years. He's 37 years old. He's on another team. He's surrounded by a still shaky offensive line. He's got one really terrific target. We know that. He's got an okay running back. The kid's okay. Right? Otherwise, they're very ordinary. And what sense does all this make? I mean, I understood Rodgers. I don't understand Wilson. I even less understand the role now Jameis Winston. And I never thought that they were going to go into the season with Jameis Winston. I don't. So I never understood why they signed him. I have no idea why they signed him. Because if they lose their quarterback, Winston isn't going to turn them around. And let's be honest, they're not going to win big with Wilson anyway. So, or eventually you're going to go to a kid quarterback? Then what was Winston's plan? Why is he here? So, to me, the Giants are in a position that you don't want to be put in. They were brought back because John Mara didn't want to change coaches again. But he did it and brought him back in such a state of frustration that he basically said, I'm bringing you guys back, but I'm out of patience. Well, you don't have a team that is ready to win. So if you make it a mandate that they have to win this year, then you might as well realize you're changing coaches next year again, and here we go again. The Giants aren't going to turn around and win 11 or 12 games with this talent against the toughest schedule in the league in a very tough division. It's not going to happen. It wasn't going to happen with Jameis Winston. It wasn't going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. And it's not going to happen with Russell Wilson. So did the Giants get better at the quarterback position? Theoretically, yes. Did they raise the credibility of their image at the position? Theoretically, yes. Did they just get a washed up quarterback? Theoretically, yes. Is he better than what they've had? Yes, he is. On his worst day, he is. But is he good enough now to win in the National Football League? I don't think so. And I don't think he has a unit around him that can win. So if this year isn't to develop a quarterback, that means next year, after they go and have a losing season behind Wilson, the law firm of Wilson and Winston, they're going to get rid of the coach, get rid of the general manager, start over, and that guy's going to say, hey, I have to rebuild. Well, now you're in year one of a building thing again. And you got to give him at least 2 years to even see if the guy can coach and to see if you can find a quarterback that is someone you can build with in the future. It's a complete disaster. I understand what they were doing with Rodgers. Rodgers is a unique talent. He is a Hall of Fame quarterback who you can make the argument is one of the great quarterbacks of all time. It's the only quarterback in history with a 100 quarterback rating and 400 TD passes in history. He's a 4-time MVP. He's a Super Bowl champion. He is a winning quarterback and a all-time quarterback. But he wasn't going to be put in a winning atmosphere or around winning personnel. Now, either was Winston and either is Wilson. I just don't get it. It's almost like the Giants were like, we have to do something. We have to do something. We have no quarterbacks. We got to do something. The Steelers need a quarterback, and they didn't want Wilson back. They are closer to the playoffs than the Giants. They have a coach who knows how to win football games, and he didn't want any part of Wilson. Why would the Giants want any part of Wilson? He didn't want Wilson. Depends who you listens to as whether he wanted Fields or not, okay? He didn't want Wilson. And he has a team that's on the verge of being a playoff team, a team that doesn't have losing seasons, a team that is competitive. And he didn't want Wilson, and the Giants gobble Wilson up, and a journeyman who is an exciting journeyman. Winston is an exciting journeyman. He can come in a game, he can throw 3 touchdown passes, he can bomb the ball over the place, and he can also throw 4 picks. That's who he is. That's who he is. Is he a winning NFL quarterback? No. Can he start in this league? Absolutely. Do you want him starting on a playoff team? Probably not. And I like Jameis. I do. But I would have understood more. And I never thought with the money they paid him and how it was set up, I never thought Winston was being brought in to be the guy. If they had brought Jameis Winston to be the guy saying, we're going to play Winston until we get the quarterback ready. And if Jameis is taking us somewhere special, we'll leave him alone. And if he's not, we'll put our kid in. That's our plan for this year. Now, basically, they wasted the Winston money. And Wilson, who got $21 million, of which I guess 10.5 is guaranteed, he needed a home. The team that had him last year is stalled for quarterback, didn't want him. And now he winds up with the Giants. This whole Giant thing, from the start, is ill-conceived. The Giants painted themselves into a corner. They decided, see, here's one of the problems. The Giants, they don't agree on stuff a lot anymore. In the old days, they agreed on everything. They don't agree on everything anymore. And you would have thought that the Giants could have landed a talented older coach to give them some gravitas and some stability. But I don't think they wanted to pay a guy like that. And I don't think they really wanted in their heart to make a change, but they really are sick of these guys already. And remember, they're 9-25 after these guys had a good first year. They went 9-25 the last 2 years. And the Giants, and this is true because I know this has been discussed. The Giants don't like how far they have fallen in terms of how they are regarded in the league. They don't like having the worst announced teams show up to do their games. They don't like that nobody pays attention to them. They understand in their mind they're bad now, but they are still the Giants. Well, the problem is they've been losing now for so long that they're not the Giants anymore, except in name only or in memory. Those teams that won 4 Super Bowls over 5 trips and over that 25-year span went to the Super Bowl as much as anybody, those days are gone. And with them has gone any shred of legitimate football or any foresight or any smarts or anything else. Since they built that rotten building, they have done nothing right. Nothing. They're the only team that built a new building that was actually disliked. Everyone can't wait to show you their new building and rave about their new building. They build a new building that nobody likes and really makes people long for the old building. And then they added things like personal seat license, which destroyed their fan base because they had such expense building that building. So everything traces back to that, and nothing has gone right since. And again, another move that really, when you look at it, it makes no sense. It doesn't make them notably better. So, what are they going to accomplish out of this year? Is Russell Wilson going to take them to the promised land? No. Gets hurt, is Jameis Winston going to take them to the promised land? No. So those guys are going to be out the door probably after 1 year. Maybe Jameis stays around as the guy who's a spot starter, backup veteran in the room next year for a new quarterback. Maybe they draft a quarterback this year. But if he drafts a quarterback this year, is he going to get on the field with Russell Wilson? Then why'd you bring Russell Wilson in? You could have just gone with Jameis Winston. Why did you have to move two guys out of the way to play a kid? Now, I don't know what quarterbacks the Giants like and don't like. That I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I don't know if they're in love with Cam Ward. I don't know that they even like Sanders a little. I don't know that there's a quarterback on the second round they think's worth taking. I don't know that. It's not a great quarterback draft. We know that. There are no can't misses in this quarterback draft. There's no, I don't want to, mention a Hall of Famer. There's no Trevor Lawrence's in this draft. No less any Andrew Lucks in this draft or anybody, along that ilk. There's nothing proven or given as a can't miss in this draft, which is typical when the Giants get up there. They can't have one of those crazy drafts. Hey, did they blow it last year? Yeah. They didn't know what Bo Whitnick's was. Sean did. They didn't. But that's because he's better than they are. No, they didn't. So they let quarterbacks go way past where they draft, and they got a good player. I'm not saying Neighbors, I don't like his antics, but he's a heck of a talent. We know that. But the way they've handled this whole, from the day that the Rodgers chase began, and I'm not blaming them for any part of the Rodgers chase, because chasing Rodgers is a very, very dangerous game because you can look very, very foolish and you can look ridiculous. And most of the teams do at one point or another. And the Giants have looked inept and ridiculous. And part of that is Rodgers. Rodgers likes this game. He likes to chase. But what they've done since, they wanted to bring back a DeVito. Hey, as they would say, in The Godfather, he's small potatoes. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Let him be a Giant. He's not going to play. They don't want him to play. So they go and get Jameis Winston. And what's his role? Now, I have no idea. I guess he's going to be the guy who holds the clipboard. And now they bring in Russell Wilson, who really has fallen off dramatically. And all you need to know is the team that they are fighting Rodgers for didn't want Russell Wilson. They didn't want any part of him. They weren't going to re-sign Russell Wilson. They didn't like him. And then the Giants scoop him up. And where the Giants are right now, I can tell you Russell Wilson's their starting quarterback, and they're probably going to try and put a smiley face on that, and God bless them. They're going to tell you Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl in that building. He did in a game where you could have been the quarterback and won the Super Bowl. I was there. It was about the worst game ever played, as one-sided as a game could be. This guy was a terrific quarterback. He has not been a terrific quarterback in recent years at all. At all. He has not been the same player at all. And if he bounced back, he'd be good enough to just put some more points on the board, which might be a step in the right direction. So instead of losing by, really one-sided scores, they'll be in games and lose those tighter next year because Russell will put a couple more touchdown passes up. That's possible. But you're going to be starting over next year anyway because with a losing record, the coach and the general manager aren't going to be here next year. You heard that from the head coach, from the owner. You heard it from him. I'm out of patience. We have to see improvement. Well, you would think improvement means they have to have something close to a winning record. I don't see them against the toughest schedule in the league having a winning record next year. Not with this team. So is Russell Wilson the quarterback this morning? Yes. Is he going to be the quarterback on opening day? Yes. Will they draft a quarterback at 3? I would doubt it. Would they draft one early? Maybe. In the first couple of rounds? Maybe. I think at 3, they'd have to take advantage of having a really special player fall in their lap. At least then the team will get a little better, despite the fact it's not going to move them along immediately, and it's not going to solve their quarterback issue. But nothing they've done now is going to solve their quarterback issue anyway. They've done nothing to do that. This was the ultimate stopgap, and I don't even think it's going to work as a stopgap. So, unfortunately, the Giants have had you scratching your head, and they still got you scratching their head. Because I doubt there's many Giant guys out there, Giant fans out there, who are overjoyed with the fact that Russell Wilson's now in the fold. I would be very surprised if they are. See you tomorrow.